Hi, this is Alex Neuer, the writer and director of Sound of Violence, and you're listening to the Horror Squad podcast.
Hello, welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast. This is episode number 234. Tonight we're talking about The Black Phone, currently in theaters. I'm one of your hosts, Todd. We have Steve and Joe. Boys to Men, how's it going?
Hello, Ooh, Boys
Hi
to Men.
there.
Love
Hi
it.
there.
Very nice.
I'll make
Hello.
love to you.
Ooh,
I think that's them.
it is.
All right, good. Steve knows the whole. Steve probably sang that to a girl at one point.
I know. Singing is not one of my fortes. It's I'm pretty actually shitty at it. But happy belated Canada Day and 4th of July to everyone. We totally forgot last week that it was
That's right.
it was coming up. So hopefully you all got to stuff your faces with hot dogs, burgers, ribs, corn, and burnt yourself with some fireworks, because that's the way people do it.
I do it.
I actually saw I was walking back from my in-laws and people were doing fireworks in the park, and sure enough, someone's fireworks fell over and then started shooting at a family and watching them run away and stuff. Just typical people.
Good, classic Canadian fun right there.
Right, exactly.
That happened to me 2-3 years ago, and I haven't bought fireworks since because I lit the whole planter on fire. They're shooting off into the fucking neighbors. They shot off past my kids. I'm like, all right, this is not good. It wasn't anything I did either. The thing just was faulty, and it just fucked up, and you're putting your trust in a $30 item. It's but yeah. Did you guys do anything fun? I know Joe was on the water.
Yeah, went on the boat. Yeah, me and Sam did the Tiki cruise, which is a lot of fun. We've done quite a few times. It goes out of Salem Harbor. It's awesome. It's like a booze cruise thing, but it's really intimate. It only holds 6 people. So if you ever are in the area, definitely recommend it. Tiki
There's
Hut
gonna
Boats.
be 4 of us.
That's right.
So,
but actually it will still be running at that point, but they're booked out for the entire year already, so we wouldn't even be able to get on it even if we wanted to. But maybe next year, maybe next time. But yeah, that was our weekend, and we watched the fireworks, of course, because why not? America.
That's what we do. Had a full day. Wife planned the whole thing. It's about 103 in Texas right now, so it's hot. And we did a morning parade. You got cops on horseback. You got Republicans with their big old Jeeps, and you got Democrats with their big old Jeeps, and they're throwing shit, and it's funny. It was kind of lame though, because it was very political instead of being cool, So that was kind of lame. But cops on horseback is always cool to look at. Then followed by I went to the pool party at the HOA. Pretty cool, pretty chill. Had a couple margaritas in the pool, which is nice. And then at night we did the fireworks show in the park, excuse me, and that was cool. And then tried to beat the traffic out of there because there's 2,000 people in this little park, and then it was good. Hot dogs for lunch.
Very nice.
Yep.
Nice. And for me, I mean, we also got super political here. We had another major protest from the Freedom Convoy. Those fucking pricks.
They got to come back with a cooler name than that. I know freedom's a catchy word, but it's got to be
freedom.
Tiger Claw.
Freedom in fucking Canada. Anyway, I'm not gonna get political, but I went to my in-laws and just went in the pool, went in the hot tub, watched the fireworks from my backyard because they were all around me. There's parks all around me, and everyone was shooting fireworks because you're allowed, to shoot them the day of, before, and after Canada Day. It was great to see it because it was on Friday, so it was a long weekend, and you could start with Canada Day. So that was cool, and the food was just regular. We actually had steak and lobster, so a little bit of a fancy feast for Canada Day, more so than usual. But it was a good time. So.
Real quick question: do they have Canadian themed rock songs?
I'm sure they do.
Really, we got "Born in the USA."
Nothing like that.
Nothing like that.
No.
Or Toby Keith. I also I forgot to mention this last week, but I made a new horror friend, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
Yes, you can make friends out there. And actually we went and saw The Black Phone with him and his fiance this weekend, Sam and I. But it was so random. So we went to a place called The Landing, which is like a little like outdoor bar around here. And we were wearing our horror shirts, and the kid at the bar next to us was just like, "Hey," he's like, "What shirts you wearing? Those are cool," or whatever. And I was like, I forget. I think Sam was wearing the Beyond, and I was wearing, I think, Rosemary's Baby. So that spawned like a whole conversation, and we talked for like 2 hours just about like horror movies and stuff like that. And then we exchanged information, and then we ended up going and seeing Black Phone with them this week. And so, Matt, if you're listening, what's up, man?
Shout out to Matt.
Yep.
Cool. So that was exciting.
Yeah, it was cool. And we've been messaging a lot on Instagram, talking new horror movies. I recommended Uncle Peckerhead to him, and he went and watched it, and he said he loved it. So,
All right. Well, next is Greasy Strangler. He needs to watch that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That'll really gauge where he's at with ridiculousness.
Yeah, he's thrown out a couple of suggestions to me too, and I wrote one down. I think one was called like Necrophagus or something like that. So I don't know if anyone's seen it, but I gotta watch it just based on the name alone.
Awesome. You guys ready to get in questions?
Do I give my punishment now, or
Sure. Yeah, anytime. There's no good time, really.
Yes. Hold on, let me pull up my screenshots because I did a deep dive into Tubi.
Okay.
And
great.
I was looking up like the worst possible things, and it was hard. Honestly, there's quite a bit that I wanted to give you. So I'm going to give you a choice.
Cool.
You pick which one you want to watch, and hopefully they're on Canadian TV.
I'm gonna check as we're.
All right, this title is
no.
called Transylvania 6-5000.
Oh boy.
That one's from 1985, actually.
Oh, that's good. It'll at least fit with my thing. So Transylvania
6-5000, which is the stupidest title I've ever.
There's 1,000
heard.
Transylvania movies. Transylvania. I don't see it. I might be saved at that one.
All right. And this one I picked solely because of this title, and you can guess why. Tonight She Comes.
Oh my god.
From 2016.
Nice.
Come on, find it.
Nope.
Oh my god.
Unless comes is not spelled the same.
No. Comes in traditional sense. C-O-M-E-S. Man, all right. Back to the drawing board.
Thank God. All
Tonight
right.
She Comes in Transylvania 6-5000.
All right. Between segments, you can find it.
All right,
and
I'll find
we'll revisit it later in the episode. In the meantime, we'll go through questions. So you can ask us those questions on social media at the Horror Squad Podcast or on our Discord. A lot going on in the Discord. I want to send out a shout out to Chuck, who looks like he's going to have some knee surgery. So, listen to our backlog. I'll send you a list of shitty movies, and, hopefully it goes well, and, you can recover and watch all sorts of bad horror movies that we're going to recommend. So, a lot of great people in that Discord. So join it. It's absolutely free. So speaking of Chuck, he has the first series of questions over on audio. So Chuck, what is your first question?
What's up, Horror Squad? Chuck here with a few questions. First, I want to apologize for the background noise. It's 111 degrees here right now, and I'm hot. So I got fans going, so I do apologize, but I do have some questions. First question, with the recent resurgence of some of the older actors like Ewan McGregor and Ethan Hawke, who do you want to see come back?
Freddie Prinze Jr. Bring
Ooh,
him back.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Bring him back. It's a really good movie though, Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Forget the subtitle to it, but it's a good movie. It's like legit good.
Wasn't just Scooby-Doo.
The first one?
Scooby-Doo. Yeah.
Is that the one where they go to the island? Whichever one that is.
Yeah, I think it's the first one. That's the one by James Gunn. So
yeah. Freddie Prinze Jr. Man, see him in like a like random Tarantino movie or something.
I'm down. I don't know. I didn't think about this. So Steve, if you got something, go for it.
No, nothing in particular that I can think of either. Like, I'm trying to think of all the actors. They're either way too old now. Like, yeah, it'd be cool to see some of the older actors, but at this point, like Gene Hackman, I don't know if he's even still alive, stuff like that. Nicola, there's a bunch of them.
I would love to see Michael J. Fox if he could physically pull it off. Unfortunately, he has the illness, but he's amazing and everything.
Yeah, like Tim Curry, it'd be great, but I don't think he can do it anymore.
Right. He made that really small cameo in the Rocky Horror Picture Show thing they did a couple years ago. I'd love to see Nicholson do one more role. I don't think we'll ever see it because the dude's like almost 90 now, but we'd love to see it. By the way, rest in peace to Joe Turkel, who we just lost this week, who played Lloyd, the bartender from The Shining.
Also
He
in
was like 92, I think. He was lived a long life.
good run. Blade Runner as well. Really good in that
Yeah.
one. Yeah, R.I.P.
All right. Chuck, what is your second question?
If you had been kidnapped, how would you escape?
From what? What movie? Are you
I'm
referencing?
guessing this one, Black Phone.
Oh, Black. Oh yeah, I forgot.
I forgot what you were
As-
reading.
As in a yeah, that happens a lot, man. I have a really good memory with like stuff that doesn't matter, like the trivia. You know, anything new, I'm like, I draw a blank. As a grown ass man, I would kick Ethan Hawke in the balls. Like, I'm not looking at your fucking. Pick up your own eggs, you piece of shit, when he drops them.
Are we doing this as an adult or as a child? Does it matter?
I guess at that age, yeah, as a child.
How old is
As
he?
a child?
14?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
12
yeah,
to 14,
young-
I'd say.
14.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. That's
Because
I'd
we gotta
probably
wait till
try.
the movie.
I'd
go,
probably
I'm
try
sorry,
to
go.
befriend. I'd probably try to befriend him, I guess, and feel like he could trust me, and then strike when I thought the time was right.
Bro, I love basements.
Yeah.
This is dope.
Yeah.
Oh, mattress? Oh, dude, thanks. Eggs?
Yeah, I mean, he does escape, right, at some point in the movie, and he just
Mhm.
fucking just runs down the street. Like, he's not, he should have, it's like that fucking kid in Game of Thrones that just ran in a straight line, and then easily
Oh, the
got shot down.
Stark boy.
Yeah, you gotta zigzag, you gotta go into the
Gotta
trees,
bob
you gotta
and
go
weave.
into people's fucking yards, you gotta jump over fences, you gotta use your youth to your advantage against the old man. That's basically what I would have done. I would have tried to do anything to make sure that he doesn't grab me again.
Yeah, because Ethan Hawke was definitely focusing on chest in the gym.
Yeah, right.
We don't know. We don't know what his cardio is at.
He's
so I
been
think
skipping leg day, so
he wants to play naughty boy, dude. Yeah. I guess we can talk about other answers when we talk about the film because there's some stuff in there
no, for sure.
directly related to his attempts.
Yeah. And Chuck, what is your last question?
Last question. What's a childhood fear that was overhyped looking back at it now? I'm looking at quicksand. Thanks, guys. Look forward to the episode. Enjoy it. Have a good one.
Quicksand.
That's a good one.
Mhm.
Childhood fear.
My childhood fear was AIDS. Like I thought I was gonna get AIDS, like for sure. I mean, it was like AIDS was like pretty like rampant, I guess, like back in like the early '90s. So I just thought like if I like just like got a cut, like I like someone else's blood would somehow get in, or like there would just be like AIDS on like the sidewalk or something, and I would just I was gonna get it. It was just so irrational, but that was like my big fear. I think because I watched the band Played On too, like at a really young age. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that movie, but it was all about the AIDS pandemic, and it's terrifying for me.
I can relate to that though. My film class teacher actually was the one that put it in my head, saying, "Hey, if you guys get gas, make sure you look at the gas pumps first because people are putting needles infected with AIDS on it.
Yeah.
You grab the thing and you got AIDS." I'm like, "Oh my god, is that?" And to this day, I look
Yeah.
both sides of it. Yeah, I can relate to
Yep.
that, man. We're impressionable as kids, man. You, like say any shit.
Yeah. Definitely.
For me, I guess storm drains because I literally thought, well, no, oh. Yeah,
See, Storm Drains for me was Ninja Turtles, man. Like I was like, I would look down there and
Pennywise,
listen, and
dude.
hoping the Ninja Turtles were down there.
That was Pennywise. It was always Pennywise.
For me, it's dogs. I was
Dogs.
fucking terrified of dogs as a kid because one time I was at my friend's house and this fucking gigantic dog like chased after me down the street, and it just scared me to death. In reality, it was probably like a Lapso or some fucking little dog, but in my mind, it was like Beast from The Sandlot, but yeah, it scared me, and it's not until my parents got their first dog that I was scared the first time. I remember I jumped on the couch as soon as like I saw the it's like a miniature Shih Tzu. I was terrified, but eventually, after getting used to it and everything, I realized there was nothing to be afraid of, and then now I love dogs. So that was definitely my irrational fear at the time. All right. So thank you, Chuck, for the audio questions. We go to our social medias on Twitter. We have a new person asking questions, actually a group, Scare Traducing, which is a podcast. So check them out. They ask, pair this, speaking about the Black Phone, with another movie for a double feature. But It can't be a Joe Hill or Stephen King adaptation. Yes, we know this isn't a King movie, but it's very indebted to his style.
Yes.
Right off the bat, I think you'd go with The Stranger Calls Back sequel.
Yeah, I was gonna say When a Stranger Calls. Yeah, I
There you
think
go.
it'd be a good choice for this one. Yeah, or maybe The Girl Next Door.
I never seen that one. I don't think I would take the source material that well.
It's pretty dark, man. It's
Yeah.
I mean way darker than this. I'd say about 100 times darker than this.
Yeah, that one's fucking just not a good watch at all.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
along
just-
the same lines with that one. The Boy Behind the Door, which is another
That's right. Yeah.
real monster that
Mhm.
kidnaps two boys in that one and use them for nefarious reasons. So
I'll go a little made for TV movie that I've talked about probably on the Three Guys days, but Cabin by the Lake. It stars what's his face from Breakfast Club, the bad boy character. He is a screenwriter for horror movies, and he lives at like a lake, whatever. And he kidnaps women and puts them in his basement, similar to this. And then like he gets inspiration from that. And there's a sequel called Return to the Cabin by the Lake, and I think they're both cool. I have them both on VHS. I'm not sure if they exist anywhere other format, but I will always suggest those movies. I think they came out in like USA Network in like early 2000s or something like that. Really pretty cool.
cool. So thank you very much for the question. We go over to our Discord. So the first one's from Horror Fan Ryan. I've yet to see The Black Phone, but I'm really excited about it and all the great reviews I've seen so far. With this movie being a success, do you think Ethan Hawke has cemented himself as a horror icon or legend? P.S. I keep trying to call Joe's House of Horrors. No one answers.
Hey, we're busy. We're busy. You know, you gotta just keep calling. We'll get a hold of you. Don't you worry. The ladies are working overtime. I would not consider Ethan Hawke a horror icon or legend. Has he been in some good horror movies? Absolutely. But icon legend's a strong word, so I would say no. Just like people who try to call Art the Clown an icon or legend right now, which I think is crazy.
No, he's not to that point yet. I agree.
No.
Ethan Hawke, he's great. I know we talked about this a little bit on Discord. What Daybreakers, this movie,
Sinister.
Sinister.
Mhm.
I think if this, are they gonna make a prequel? You think for this movie? They almost have to, right?
I don't think it's necessary, but I would be down for it. I mean,
Is-
this movie's doing really well.
it doing- that was my
in
next
theaters.
question.
It's very, very well, yeah.
Because you got that mask. I was talking to Asa earlier, and texting like that mask is gonna sell for sure. Trick or treat.
Oh yeah, 100%.
NECA's gonna pick up the figure line, so I think
Mhm.
definitely we'll see a sequel. Obviously, we can't see a prequel. But no, I don't think he's there yet. Because kind of it'd be like calling Kevin Bacon a horror legend, right? A couple good horror movies,
Right.
Yeah. Would you consider Patrick Wilson horror legend?
I would consider him more than Ethan Hawke.
Even
closer.
though Ethan Hawke has been in 3 big movies?
Well, what's his face has been
I mean,
in?
well, what's Patrick Wilson been in? Like 4 or 5?
Yeah, but out of 2 franchises, he's done The Purge, he's done Sinister,
I
he's
forgot
done
about
Black
the
Phone.
Purge.
I did forget about The Purge.
I think he's on the.
He's close, eh? He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's like 1 film away.
Yeah.
From
What separates it though? Do you think it's because we see him as too mainstream to be horror?
maybe because
legend?
he's more known for non-horror, I guess. That's kind of
He's fucking
Yeah.
great in,
He
in
is.
horror movies, but
Right. I wouldn't consider Patrick Wilson an icon or legend of horror either, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd put him closer. Maybe just because the Conjuring universe, like it's a universe, right? So like it just has more weight to it than single movies.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting discussion, but Ethan Hawke definitely great.
Sure.
I think if he makes sequels to this as this character, as the grabber, I think maybe he could get there. But I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
he's just on the cusp of it.
I think there's some
Yeah.
cool prequel ideas here, which won't get into so we don't spoil the plot yet, but more of like the clown stuff, magician stuff. I mean, could be pretty creepy.
Yeah, absolutely. Next question is from Shaylin, Lil 3 Chord Me over on Discord. Was there ever a time when you were a kid that you thought you were in danger of getting kidnapped? Example is walking by yourself and thought someone was following you, or you got separated from your parents at a large event, etc.
Yeah. I mean, that was definitely an irrational fear too. As a child, I think most probably kids' irrational fear was getting kidnapped. I can't recall a time it was ever like an actual moment where there was anything ever hairy though in my life, luckily, like that.
Um, Nothing stands out, but stuff that you think about in hindsight kind of could have been iffy, you know? I remember one time we were riding our bikes and we were probably like 13 or so. And this like a guy looks like he lives in the mountains. Missing like no teeth, and he was just had this beater truck, kind of like from see, my fucking memory is weird, man. The fucking beating you fucking license plate. Someone rescue me here.
Oh yeah, it's
Jeepers Creepers?
Jeepers
yeah,
Creepers, there you go.
Jeepers Creepers.
Driving that kind of truck, and he slowed down and just smiled at us with this toothless grin. And I was like, what the fuck? Thinking about that in hindsight, that's kind of creepy. And then I also met someone on a forum. I was like 18, and then we went to a graveyard together to ghost hunt, and that's pretty stupid. So if you're a kid out there, don't meet people online and go to graveyards with them. That's weird. And we didn't find any ghosts either.
Oh, I'm sure that you didn't. It's not what he was looking for, Todd. I've said my story in the past where a guy tried to seduce me into getting into a quote unquote wrestling match over the internet. He sent me like pictures of him.
I don't remember this one.
You don't remember this?
No.
It's when we talked about the dangers of the internet. There's a very like he was like kind of a small dude, very hairy. He kept sending me pictures of him in speedos, and he wanted to have like a wrestling match, and he was really like pushing hard for it and stuff like that. And this is in the early like kind of 96, 97 era. So
who was shirts and who was skins?
Yeah, right. No, I never met him. Thank God. I was smart enough to know.
How old were you?
So this 96, I was like 14, 15.
Wow. Where'd you meet him at? Wrestling?
I didn't meet him.
board?
Yeah,
I mean,
it was,
online.
Yeah, I was wrestling like chat.
Chat
like,
room. Gosh, that's
as far as in person, you know, like I'm very privileged, right? I mean, I'm a white male that lived in a middle-class suburb of Canada, so it's not like there were a ton of them out there. But I do remember one specific incident where I was maybe like 5 or 6, and this really weird dude came to our door, and he handed me a card. I was too young to read the card, so I don't know what the card actually said, but I didn't know what to do. So I kind of half closed the door on him, and he pushed the door open to kind of get the card back. I don't know what the card was again, but then my dad came in and started yelling at him and stuff like that. And that's when he told me never, ever open the door again, you know, when it's stranger danger kind of thing.
Did your dad know what he wanted?
I never really asked him. You know, I was like 5 or 6, right? So I think he probably doesn't remember. It's more like traumatic to me than him, but I have a feeling just by the situation that it was one of those people that have a card that says I'm mute and I want money. You know, I don't know if you ever seen people at like malls that give out those cards. That's why I think it was, but yeah, it's a scary time. So like I said, I really wasn't the target, right? Like I have a lot of female friends who got approached and a lot of, you know, people of color that got approached, and I just happened to be lucky, I guess, growing up.
Yeah. Women have it pretty rough. So
yeah,
be safe out there, seriously.
Yeah, my sister told me a story one time. This is when I used to work at the porn shop, that a guy got on a train and just like stared at her the whole time. Ugh. And waited for her stop and then followed her into the parking lot. And when she got in the car, he blocked her car. But she could reverse instead of like going forward because the person behind her wasn't there. So she reversed out, and then he got into a car and followed her. And she had the foresight of going to my porn shop because she knew that I wasn't there because I worked day shift, but it was night. But she knew one of the employees would help her, you know. So she went into the porn shop. But women, man, God, I can't even imagine what they go through.
Women have, I mean, I had that altercation at a freaking football game last year, and I was with my wife and daughter. So alcohol and guys that don't know boundaries is not a good mix. Plus, I guess to feed off what you just said, drive to police station, ladies, if you can. That's scary.
Yeah, or anywhere safe. But you know, she was lucky she had the opportunity to do that. You know, what if there was a car behind her and she couldn't get out? And anyway, it's a scary world out there. And next question is from M. She asks, what are some of your favorite kidnapping/abduction movies?
Great question. One that I'm not prepared for.
Well, I got one that jumps out, Fire in the Sky. That's a great one. And I remember that one being terrifying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Fire in the Sky's good.
You got any, Joe, or off the top of your head?
I'm looking right now. Misery.
Probably one of the best
That
ones.
counts. Yeah, if that
absolutely,
counts.
absolutely.
All right. Yes, Misery is great. Pet's a pretty good one for like one that maybe a lot of people haven't seen. That one's pretty solid. And yeah, I don't know. Nothing else comes to my head right at this moment. I mean, I'm sure there's a million that I'm forgetting or missing, but yeah, I'll throw out those two.
Yeah, my wife just texted me. She said The Vanishing because she's listening.
Oh yeah, that's a French horror movie. That's a good one. Yeah,
so that's what she recommends. And for me, I would say Split is one that I really liked because James McAvoy and the split personalities was just absolutely terrifying. But I generally don't like kidnapping abduction movies. It's really not that, and Home Invasion was never a genre that I gravitated towards at all. It was just not my thing, I guess. So I haven't watched a ton of them. And that's all the questions we have for now. We do have a couple more questions, but they are specifically to the Black Phone, so we'll get to them at the end of the episode. But before we go into our What Watch, a word from Deadly Grounds Coffee.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds Coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds Coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
What watched?
Yes.
Oh boy, I don't think I've been watching anything.
Come on.
I rewatched Stranger Things season 2.
Oh.
Because the family wanted to watch it. Thus my delay was watching season 4 because they want to get through all the seasons. Started season 3. We just got through episode 1 where Billy's, hitting on all the moms. So we went to the pool yesterday and told my daughter, I'm like, stop looking around. Billy's not here. And she's like, shut up. So that was good. And then I went to Shudder instead of Letterboxd to see what I've been watching.
What'd you think of Stranger Things 2? Because it's regarded, I think, as the weakest season, and I agree.
That 80s, I mean, the punk bit is terrible. It's so bad.
Mm-hmm.
That whole arc is garbage. Which the rest of it's pretty decent, but that definitely drops the notches down on the belt for that one. Horror wise, though, oh god. Wait, Hercules in New York is not for this show. I watched that.
That's just horrible, not horror.
Yeah. I watched Hercules in New York, which I'll talk about the Let's XP Geek Game podcast. And that's it. That's all I have is Stranger Things season 2.
Alrighty. My first one tonight is a 2022 release from the great people at A24, and the movie is Men. It was really looking forward to this one. Had very high expectations going in. Men is about is an English horror movie, and it is about this woman whose husband commits suicide, so she decides to go on basically just like a vacation to a manor, and while she is there, she starts getting stalked by a man who is fully nude, and he stalks her around, and he just keeps reappearing, and basically the rest of the movie is her trying to escape this man, but also several other men who come into the picture, but they all look the same, but are different, but all played by the same actor. Very interesting. And I'll leave it at that because the less you know, the better going into this one. This one was really, really interesting. This one is from director Alex Garland, who you might know. He did Annihilation. For anyone who saw that a while back. This one, man, it's fucking so weird and so bizarre. And it's an A24 movie to a T, man. Like, it's just like steeped in metaphors. So I thought it was a good movie, but my problem was I feel like the message wasn't conveyed clear enough throughout. You get the gist of it, but I think it could have been delivered more clear. However, the last 20 minutes of this movie, I don't think I'll see anything like it for the rest of the year. Like, no doubt about it. It is just completely shocking and nightmare fuel at times, but it's pretty fucking wild, and it definitely has a lasting effect on you. So I think this is definitely not going to be a movie for everyone. If you're not an A24 fan, I wouldn't even bother with it because it's definitely, in that same vein of most other A24 movies. But if you are an A24 fan, I would say definitely check it out. Currently, it's, more towards the bottom of my top 10. Will it stay there? Maybe, maybe not.
Cool. Really looking forward to seeing that one.
Yeah, I really want to hear you guys' thoughts on that one, honestly. I think it would actually be a really good one to discuss if we ever had like a filler week or something like that.
It's still theater, right now? Or is it on VOD?
It's VOD now.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So I'm continuing my 1980s push. We got an extra month because I think we're going to do the episode in early August. So I figure I'm going to watch a few movies that aren't really on my radar in case I could find some kind of gem that I hadn't seen. So the first one is from 1981, directed by Lucio Fulci. It is The Beyond. So in this one, a young woman inherits like a hotel in Louisiana. And as she's, prepping it to reopen, she learns that the hotel is not what it seems. A lot of supernatural stuff starts happening. And it turns out that the hotel was built on the entrance of a gate to hell. So that's kind of the rough story. The story is a little bit confusing. It's not like a very linear or clear story, as a lot of Fulci films are. It's kind of like all over the place story-wise. But because it is a Fulci film, there's a lot of his signature stuff, like absolutely great gore, just really cool gore. Killer zombies. I really love the makeup on the zombies. Fucking gruesome ass kills, which is always a good thing. And of course, it wouldn't be a Fulci film without some eye gouging. There's a few eyeball deaths in this, as there always are in his films. A lot of memorable moments in this film. There's just some like crazy shit that happens throughout, and I really enjoyed that part of it. Like I said, the story is confusing. Like, I get that general idea of it, but it's just, I don't know. I thought it could have been a better story overall. Like, the hotel opening thing was kind of pushed to the side at some point, and it just got into weird zombie / monster attacks. But still, solid film. I liked it. I think it's worthy of the Fulci legacy, but not something that will come close to my top 10 of the 80s.
Fun fact, when I was a freshman in high school, I was in a crew called the Horror Committee, where we had a GeoCities website where we would review horror movies, and we went on.
Does it by any chance still exist? 'Cause that'd be so amazing.
It doesn't. GeoCities got shut down, but my buddy, he saved like every single page, so he has it. So I'll try to get it from him if he still has it, and I'll send it over to you guys. But we had a section called high quality horror, and then the other section was called high quality shit. And we just had like a big pile of dog shit for all like the shitty movies we watched. But anyway, the reason I bring this up was because The Beyond will always hold a special place in my heart, because we were invited by our local access television show, and we brought two scenes. We brought the scene from Dawn of the Dead when the zombies attack the bikers and like they just pull out the bikers' guts and everything like that. And then the other scene we brought was the infamous nail scene from The Beyond when the eye pops out, and it was the looks we got when those scenes came on, and they actually got calls about it after they aired, apparently, from like old ladies or whatever like that. So yeah, pretty hilarious. That's another thing. I got to see if that got recorded somehow, some way too. If I could get a clip of that too, that would be amazing. But all right, on to the next one. My other review tonight is my punishment movie. I watched Tickles the Clown. Thank you to Todd and Steve. That was my original punishment movie, but they decided to let me be punished too by watching it. So Tickles the Clown is, what is it about? I don't really know, but essentially it is about a clown named Tickles who has a special blood type that they are trying to extract from him from this female astronaut, or I don't really exactly know what she is, but something like that along those lines. And it's her job to convince Tickles to let them use his blood type because it is an antidote to fight the Illuminati. I believe that is the gist of the story. And yeah, and then it's the same scenes over and over and over again. It's like, man, this movie, yeah, it's terrible. I mean, Todd and Steve have basically already said it in the past couple weeks. But yeah, I mean, it's basically like PlayStation 2, maybe PlayStation 3 graphics. It's around PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3 graphics, but like the same 6 like animations used over and over and over and over again at nauseum. And it's like, just, yeah. And the voice acting is quite terrible as well. For the most part, we have what to me seems like an extremely racist Bigfoot voice going on here. And then it's just probably one of the horniest things I've ever heard too. I mean, the movie ends with just them saying, "How do you feel?" "I'm horny." Roll credits, and that's the movie. It's ridiculous. I said in my Letterboxd review, like, I feel like the director just like was in the midst of a dry spell, and he was just trying to release his horniness into a movie, and he created this with his like 6 PlayStation 3 graphic scenes that he could come up with. I mean, about as micro budget can get. I mean, kudos in a way for finding a way to get the Illuminati, Killer Clown, Bigfoot, Dr. Jekyll, Aleister Crowley, and a bunch of other random ass characters all into one movie, plus a random scene of just an elephant with a huge penis a couple times were shown. But yeah, I mean, it's just complete and utter nonsense. And it might sound like a fun time, but it's not. Like, it's not a fun time at all. And it was a fucking chore and a half to get through. I'm not gonna lie. I put it on 1.5 speed on Tubi at one point just to try to fly through it, and it was still brutal to get through. So Tickles a Clown.
Yeah.
Don't ever watch it. And if you are, like, I guess maybe it could be fun with like a massive crowd or like a big group of friends for like 10 minutes, like throw it on for 10 minutes just to kind of laugh at it and then shut it off at best. But I wouldn't even bother. Don't give this guy your money. This guy's a fucking hack. This director, so don't waste your time.
Yeah. Worst movie you've ever seen?
I mean, it's definitely up there.
Yeah. I current memory,
I mean,
yes, worst movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a half-star movie, like
Ugh.
through and through, no doubt about it. And I don't have many half-star movies, so definitely one of the worst.
It got the trifecta of half-star movies. All 3 of us were.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Perfect
I mean,
scores.
I'll give it. I did laugh a couple times, so I'll give it that. Maybe for the wrong reasons, but I
It was
mean, it did bring a
unbearable.
few chuckles out. Yeah, it is.
Unbearable.
Definitely a great punishment movie. So if you want to punish someone, we would all recommend this.
And the 4th in the series, so it's got a whole series.
Yes,
that precedes it.
Unbelievable. Didn't you watch another? I can't believe you sat through another one, Steve.
I did. I sat through Trump versus the Illuminati, which is part 3.
Is it the same type of graphics?
It was, but there was, instead of 6, I think there was like 8 scenes that he goes through.
Nice.
Yeah, it was it was better. I mean, it's like saying, that piece of shit is slightly better than that piece of shit, but it is what it is. I'm not watching the other 2.
Yeah, I mean, God, like, I just don't know what's his face was thinking. He must have really just like
Bill
it must
Oberst
have just been
Jr.?
good. Bill Oberst Jr. Yeah, like he must be like good friends with this guy or something to like take a role like this. I mean,
What a quick payday,
he
too.
yeah, it probably was. He was in that fucking other awful movie, Devil's Junction, like Handy Dandy, like with the puppets. I don't know if anyone saw that. We got a screener for it, and it was really fucking bad too.
Yep. All right. So my last one this week is a 2022 film that I watched over on Shudder, and it's Mad God. So the reason I watched this is Shudder is really, really pushing this film. Like, it seems I get ads for this on every social media that I'm on, and it's always this film that they're pushing. So I'm like, I have to watch it to see what the deal is with this one. Very hard to describe what this movie is about. Like, really, really difficult. What I kind of gathered from it is that this soldier is descending into hell, and it's about his journey through hell and how he gets to his ultimate destination. The reason that it's hard to describe what this movie is about is because there's no dialogue at all. So it's an hour and like 20-minute film of absolutely no dialogue. It's mostly, I'd say, like 95% stop motion animation, and the other 5% has live actors that kind of fill in the blanks with the stop motion actors. And I gotta say, it's actually pretty good. It's like a stop motion music video, kind of something that you would see from like Tool or something like that. It's actually, the imagery is really impressive. And having taken animation in film school, I am super mad impressed at the amount of sheer work that had to go through to make a movie like this, because there are a lot of moving parts. He's not reusing assets a lot, which is surprising for a stop motion film. Like even fucking Nightmare Before Christmas reuses assets a bunch to make it, bearable to get through an entire film in stop motion. Whereas this one, it's crazy the amount of shit that they have going in the background, like tiny miniature items in the background that nobody's looking at. And when you're doing it in stop motion, that shit's got to move somehow. And it's amazing the amount of work. And I really applaud the director, Phil Tippett, for putting in such a great amount of work. It was really cool. Like, I enjoyed the time that I spent watching it. Now, I do think it was a little long. When you're watching a no dialogue kind of visual experience, it's better in smaller chunks. Like, I almost wish this was like 4 episodes. They're 20 minutes as he goes into different parts of hell instead of a one long hour 20-minute film. But still, I think it's worth checking out. I think you have to be in a very specific mood to watch something like this. Just chill and lay back, listen to the music, and just admire the amazing work that this director did. Now, it's not going to be on my top 10 of the year or anything like that, but still, I think worthy of a one-time watch if you have the time and you like to see great art kind of being shown. So that's Mad God over on Shudder.
Cool.
All right, Steve, with the help of Joe, who found this amazing title on Tubi, you will be watching Weed Wolf.
Oh, fuck hell. Weed Wolf.
Love it.
It's
raw and extreme.
An hour 56 minutes.
Wow.
Let's read the synopsis here. The sheriff's department of a small town, Normal, Texas, enlists the help of its oddball residents to defeat a buzzkill werewolf who likes to eat stoners.
2011.
Yeah.
Wow.
God. All right. Yeah. That's
It's only has 6 reviews online too on Letterboxd.
Yeah, it seems right for Tubi.
This one guy, not since Frankenpimp have I seen a micro budget exploitation throwback. Frankenpimp, I gotta look up that. Yeah, Frankenpimp.
Wow.
Frank and Pimp. Damn, I can't fucking spell.
So out of the out of the 6 reviews on Letterboxd, 2 of them are 5-star reviews, Steve. So I'm assuming from the filmmakers.
Yeah,
2
exactly. I notice a lot when I because I watch a lot of like really low reviewed films on Tubi, and often the filmmakers or the director or the star will like my review.
Oh man, poor guys. They got to know what they're making though. I mean,
oh yeah. I'm pretty sure the Rectuma director liked my review or something.
What
like
if
that.
he got all mad? Fuck you, man. Fuck you.
No, I was actually, for like a bad movie, I was kind of complimentary about it. So, I mean, you make a movie called Rectuma. I mean, I think you know what you're doing.
All right, break out them trivia questions, boys. The quarter 3 begins now. The overall standings, however, have me at 36 points, Joe at 34, Steve at 27. Let's quarter 3 begin. Who would like to lead off today?
I will.
Ooh.
I'll do it. All right.
Okay.
So I have 2 regular, and then I have my new favorite, which is
the reviews.
Obscure Letterboxd reviews. So I think I'm gonna do at least one of those for going forward for a while. All right. So my first one is, what was the first horror movie to win an Oscar for best makeup?
Exorcist?
Incorrect.
American Werewolf in London.
That is correct.
Very nice.
I think they
Steve
say
with
it
the
at the scare show at Universal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Best transformation ever. That movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. All right, I'll go next then.
Okay.
First question. So I have one regular question and one new-ish question, type of question,
Ooh.
and then my movie accomplishment one is coming back this week. So
All
I'm
right.
going to start pulling from different ones week to week. But first one is a regular
it.
question sent to me from Weezerface. She says, "Keep watching the skies" is the last line from which 1951 horror sci-fi film?
War of the Worlds.
Good guess.
51. The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Wrong. You guys want another guess?
Yes.
This Island Earth.
Wrong. And
Watching the Skies. 51.
Mhm.
Forbidden Planet.
good guess. Wrong.
Dang it.
The answer is The Thing from Another World.
Ah.
I don't think I've ever seen it, for being totally honest.
I have that one.
I was gonna say, like, you go past 1960, my knowledge is not that great when it comes to horror stuff.
when we get
so-
to that decade, you're gonna have to.
yeah,
pull
I'll
that one.
have to
Best
definitely.
of
You're
the-
gonna have to give me like a year.
Well,
Definitely.
that's exactly what you get. So
yeah.
Best of the 20s is gonna be rough.
right.
We got to rig up a 8mm projector and everything.
Yeah, right.
All right, this is kind of a long one to get to a short answer, but this 2008 horror movie features high school boys finding a nude, unconscious woman in an abandoned hospital and performing sex acts on her.
Oh,
it's
man,
a-
I just watched
Autopsy
this
of Jane
recently.
Doe?
Dead Girl.
No.
Dead Girl.
Dead girl for Joe. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's not what was I thinking of? It wasn't
Autopsy of Jane Doe?
No, it was something else. It was like a Mexican or something film where they do something similar.
Hmm.
There's a similar one you watched. I remember you talking about it.
Yeah, I just
couple
don't
of
remember the name off the top of my head. It's something Anna Fritz, or the corpse of Anna Fritz or something like that,
Mhm.
where they do basically the same thing.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that on Won't Watch. That was like recently you talked about it too. I think.
Maybe like a year ago at this point.
Was it that long ago? Wow.
Yeah, it's a good movie though.
Dead Girl, pretty good too.
It is.
Back to me.
Yep.
Alrighty. This color is present in almost every shot in The Shining.
Red.
Correct?
Cool. Really, red?
Yeah.
Danny's got his red stuff on, right?
Tricycle. One, two.
Wendy's got red lipstick.
The blood. It's
Blood.
I mean, outside. I guess
Danny's got
Jack
Danny's
has
got
the red shirt.
strike
Where'd you
Yeah.
get that question from?
online.
Interesting. I almost bought the 2022 horror trivia pursuit the other day.
I have it. I use it when I'm like desperate.
yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Those are hard, man. There's some fucking really hard questions. in
I have to go through a
Trivial
lot.
Pursuit.
They're either too easy or too
Yeah.
hard. It's very hard to find
Yeah.
that middle.
What was the Halloween mask modeled after? Get out of here.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So this one is guess the actor by their accomplishments and bio information.
Okay, horror actor. Got it.
Horror actor. Yeah.
Okay.
Born September 9th, 1954 in Oxnard, California.
Bruce Campbell.
Wrong.
Fuck. All right, Joe gets to guess before I can guess again.
All right.
Is credited in 143 film projects as an actor, mostly horror.
Bruce grew up in Detroit. Why did I say fucking Bruce? Stupid idiot.
We just talked about it last week.
I
dude.
know. Fucking moron.
All right, this is where I would have probably gotten it. Has starred in multiple H.P. Lovecraft story adaptations.
Oh,
Jeffrey Combs.
yeah.
Correct. And my
Nice
last
job.
one was Stuart Gordon's favorite actor to work with, so he used him in multiple projects.
So, okay. Name the subtitle to Feast Part 2. No?
No, Feisty Beastie. I don't know.
Sloppy Seconds.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Oh,
I've
never-
definitely never seen that.
Me neither.
2 and 3 are pretty poopy, but one's pretty cool.
Yeah, one is pretty cool.
I've never seen any of them.
I probably. Oh, really? Yeah, I think you like Part 1.
Solid creature. Yeah, one's good. Solid creature feature.
It's weird,
Alrighty,
man. The director
No, go for
is the son of Clue Gallagher. John Gallagher for that, and he
Mhm.
directs his mom. And there's a scene where one of the creatures puts his creature penis in her mouth and ejaculates. And I'm like, this would be a weird scene to direct your mom in, but hey,
Right.
go for it. So
Yeah.
yeah, fun fact.
All right.
All right. My last one. 3 obscure letterbox reviews for one movie. Number 1. Nothing warms my heart more than seeing families hang together. The lawnmower part gets me every time.
Sinister.
Sinister.
That's correct. I think Steve got it
did.
first.
Of course, he says he got it first.
I'm sure of it this time.
All right,
Would you like to hear the third
Yes.
sure.
review I had? The thing that I found the most unrealistic in a movie that features literal ghosts was the main character zooming on Super 8 footage and getting crystal clear pictures like it's IMAX or something. Trust me, I tried, and that shit should be blurry.
I like your first clue though, or his first clue, hanging together. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So this is a newish type game that I'm trying. I don't know if it'll work or not, so let me know. So kind of like the last one, but instead of an actor, it's going to be a movie. So guess the movie based off some stats about the movie.
Okay.
The runtime is 1 hour 31 minutes. It made $14 million worldwide on a $4 million budget.
Okay.
It has a 7.3 IMDb rating.
Mm.
There are
Pretty good.
5 films in this series. And the
And
last clue, the director has only directed one other feature, but has written some of the biggest films in horror, including Alien and Total Recall, which isn't really horror. but-
Oh.
Alien, Total Recall, he wrote 5 of these movies. Return of the Living Dead.
Correct.
Yes.
Nice.
That's Dan O'Bannon.
Yep.
Very nice.
So it worked. Okay, I wasn't sure if it worked.
There
Like,
were
look-
the first. Honestly, all the other ones were kind of.
yeah,
That
but
last one didn't get them.
Yeah.
try to make it easier. As
The only one that connected to me was thinking of who wrote Aliens and that, and
Right.
then 5 movies. So
yeah, a lot of people don't know there's 5 movies though. I think people
Yeah.
think it stops at 3.
we got Rave to the Grave and Necro something.
Yeah,
Necropop-
Definitely.
Necropolis or something.
There you go. Something like that. Whatever.
Definitely stopped at 3. Are the other 2 any good?
Fuck no. They were
No.
sci-fi
No,
picture
I wouldn't think
originals.
so. Okay.
All right, my last one.
Yep.
Okay, 4 clues.
Nope.
Out in the woods, so out in the forest. Marijuana smoking.
Ooh.
Taking bets.
Taking bets.
Yep.
Oh,
Trying to defeat evil.
I feel like taking bets is the.
I'll alter some of these clues if you give you like 2 more seconds.
Can you just read them really quickly?
Sure. Woods or the forest. Pot smoking. Taking bets. An ancient evil. Or trying to defeat evil.
Cabin in the Woods.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, got it.
Taking bets. Okay, I know what you mean now. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was thinking too much of the woods and not enough of the overall.
You got woods, cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
Weed.
Huh.
They tried to alter the guy's weed. Yeah. All right. That ends tonight with Joe coming out on top with 3 and Steve and I tied at 2. Overall standings 38 to Joe's 37 to Steve's 29. Any man's game,
Alrighty.
which brings us to the black phone.
Dun dun dun.
Has anyone read the book? I have not. Anyone else?
No, I know it's a short story.
All right. Finney Shaw, a shy but clever 13-year-old boy, is abducted by a sadistic killer and trapped in a soundproof basement where screaming is of little use. When a disconnected phone on the wall begins to ring, Finney discovers that he can hear the voices of the killer's previous victims, and they are dead set on making sure that what happened to them doesn't happen to Finney. So yeah, overall, I mean, I took my daughter to see this 13-year-old. She's at the right age for this type of movie. She loved it. I love the acting in this. I thought the child acting was great. And we all know that child actors can ruin films, and these guys and girls were all fantastic, in my opinion. Ethan Hawke is excellent. Dude's creepy as fuck. His voice changing, his demeanor, his presence is good. I do have some issues with it that we'll discuss later, but overall, I came out of this enjoying it. But depending, I think, on how our discussion goes, it can either go a notch lower or maybe a notch higher. So I'm actually really interested to see what you guys say.
Yeah. So yeah, this one was obviously one of the most anticipated, I would say, horror movies of the year. So anticipated that the original release for this was actually in January, but Blumhouse their early screenings for it did so well, they decided to push it to a summer release, which I thought was pretty interesting. Read that today. So yeah, I mean, I went into it with pretty high expectations, maybe unfair based on like other people's thoughts and reviews, and I came out enjoying this quite a bit. I definitely had some issues as well, like Todd, and we can get into that later. But overall, I still think this is one of the better horror movies, mainstream anyway, of the year I've seen so far. I think they definitely could have went a little darker at times, and I think there's definitely some stuff missing here. But man, it is acted damn near perfectly by just about everybody. I think the little girl here steals the show. I think she's just fantastic in this, along of course with Ethan Hawke and all the child actors, and even the dad, Jeremy Davies, playing the abusive dad, is fantastic in this as well in his role. And we even have older Eddie Casbrack there, and the dude from Sinister, Captain So-and-so, in his little role. But yeah, I mean, really good casting all around. Yeah. What else do I got to say about this? I lost my train of thoughts. Steve, go ahead.
All right. So like you, I've been anticipating this film all year. It was definitely on my short list of things that I couldn't wait to see in 2022 based off the trailer I saw sometime last year. And so I went in, kind of with high expectations, but I also came out, thinking it was a solid film. Ethan Hawke, I thought was great as the grabber. I really played a creepy character, which you have to give the assist to Tom Savini here on that mask design, which was really brilliant because they did something that I don't think I've seen before, where it's like every time you see him, his mask is slightly different because he changes pieces out. Either it's just the top of the head or just the bottom of the head, or it's a different combo of the head and the mouth. It's like a really clever, like keeping it familiar throughout the whole film, but different just by changing up the order of the way he wears his mask. I thought was a really, really cool idea. I do think that some of the dialogue in the film was a little weak, particularly with the younger girl in the movie. And I think even the dialogue kind of gave me vibes of Psycho Goreman. But this proves that with a capable actress, you can deliver it and make it great. Because I thought the kids in this, like you said, were fucking fantastic. They were a very good group of kids that I really bought kind of what was going on with them, except one, the kind of super bully that is friends with the main kid. I wasn't really buying him as tough as they were kind of making him out to be.
You like the toughest guy in school, homie?
I don't know. It's
Come on,
just,
man. He's got a bandana.
I know, but it just that's the one kid that maybe I thought was not the greatest in the story. But they were mostly all excellent. I love that they toy with really heavy subject matter throughout the film, but I also do feel that they didn't go far enough in certain ways that it's like they talk about how bad it could be, and that it's been bad just based off the trail of bodies that have preceded the events of this film, but you never really get to see that in the film, and that was kind of a bummer. There are also questions I feel are unanswered here. There are some things that happen in the film that you're like, okay, that's cool, but why and how is this happening? Are there superpowers involved here? Is there something supernatural going on? They never really explain it, and maybe it's for the best, but also it leaves a lot to be desired, where you're just supposed to accept that these things are happening and kind of go along for the ride. So that's kind of up in the air. And like Todd, when I came out of it, I liked it. So I knew around where my score was going to be, but it could have gone either way. But in a conversation I had with my wife, she told me one thing that teetered me on one side of the fence rather than the other. And I'll share it later because it's a spoiler thing. But overall, I think it's a solid film.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play I think it was better that they didn't explain what was going on with the whole black phone, because it really could have played, I think, corny But I think not explaining it and just kind of, suspending disbelief and just being like, okay, maybe this kid has, maybe he has a gift, right? Like maybe he can talk with the dead, even though that isn't really explained prior. But otherwise, I think, you try to explain it too much, it just might come off as goofy. So I think it was the right decision to kind of keep it more ambiguous there with that. Also, shout out Mark Corvin,
Yeah,
who scored this movie.
I saw
who
that in the
also scored
credits.
The
I
Witch.
immediately thought about you.
Yeah. When I perked up when I saw his name, I was like, oh shit, all right, Mark Corvin scored it. And it was a great score.
Yeah, the phone things, like, it has to be him talking to ghosts, because otherwise he wouldn't know that there was like dirt underneath the tile, and
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean. So I guess whatever supernatural reason that happened, but yeah, my biggest one of my biggest issues with is, like, one, I know it's the 70s and things were a little bit different and like more loose and everything, but man, I feel like you could catch this guy pretty damn easy. He's got an MO of black balloons. You look for, there's a creepy van driving around. We're still letting our kids walk to school by ourselves. Like, what are we doing? And the fact that this happens not in like a secluded farmhouse or something, it happens literally in the middle of a suburban block, and you have two houses that are in on it. It's like, what are we doing? And then, not to mention, like, there's been multiple child murders and abductions, and when someone hears a boy screaming at like 3 a.m, no one comes outside, not one father or mother or whatever. Like Steve mentioned earlier, you got to bob and weave, you got to climb up a tree or something. But and then I think the officer, nobody or so and so from Sinister, one of those, his character was wasted. I didn't understand what he was doing, because you could tell me, like, your brother. Okay, first of all, maybe I missed it, but does Ethan Hawke just sit in his kitchen for 12 hours and the brother never comes out to get a glass of milk, Steve style? And then, one, he had to have ordered him never to go in the basement. As soon as he tells me that, I'm going to the fucking basement. What do you got in here? Especially since I'm investigating these child disappearances, like, come on. So that thing I thought was like completely wasted. It would have been more interesting if he was in on it than he was completely stupid. I know he's supposed to be a stupid character, but that's just plain stupid. You know what I mean? Like, no offense to anybody, but like, you don't hear children screaming in your base. Like, too many what if scenarios on that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So talking about the black phone, right? So yeah, I get that the kid, can hear stuff and speak to the dead on the black phone. But why is the black phone there? Why does Ethan Hawke recognize the black phone being there as something special, right? Like he mentions the black phone a couple times in the movie. So there's got to be more to it than just him hearing the dead, but we don't know, because they don't explain it whatsoever. It's just there. There's no backstory to it. There's like no, so like it can't be just him hearing the dead people. There's got to be more to it.
Yeah, why him?
Right? Why him? And why does Ethan Hawke?
Didn't Ethan Hawke say it would go off randomly though to him? I thought he had said that.
He said, like, he like denied it or was like scared of it or something like that. So I don't know. Maybe like I mean, there's no explanation. So like, it's all really just I guess speculation and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he also like heard voices, and if he threw it away, like the voices went in his head. So like it was a way to kind of put that phone there so the voices would stay in the phone rather than like go inside of his head. Cause like obviously the dude's fucking mental to begin with. So maybe like it was that sort of thing. I mean, maybe there's more explanation in the book. Maybe I might have to read the short story.
Yeah. What about the little girl? Her acting in the scene when Dad's getting mad and she's crying. That was some good acting. I felt super bad for her. But what about her? I can see what Steve's saying about her saying like "fuck yeah," cops and stuff. It was kind of iffy. What about her power though? Her, I guess,
her sense, her sixth sense,
seeing things.
Yeah, or like.
What do you think about that?
It's kind of like him listening to the dead, right? It's they both have power somehow, and there's something with the mother, right? They kind of allude to the fact that their mother was special when she was seeing things, and that's led to what was it, her suicide or drug overdose? I don't remember. It's been 2 weeks. So
I think it was a suicide. Yeah,
suicide. Yeah. So that alludes to that. So there is something that they kind of start to build there, but again, they leave it so vague that you don't really know. You kind of just have to accept that they have powers and go along, for the ride with it. Yeah. So that's, I guess, what it is.
Yeah. And I mean, I know I touched on this a little bit earlier, but I just feel like they played it too safe with this movie too. I mean, you know, I think this could have been, it was a good movie, but I think it could have been a great movie had they just went that extra step. And, you know, because to me, the stakes never felt like grave, right? For this little boy. Like, yeah, you knew he was in trouble, but like I just felt like maybe some scenes with maybe Ethan Hawke, you know, torturing him. Maybe it's a strong word, but like, you know, something just to kind of make your heart go into your stomach and be like, fuck, like
Maybe
this
implied
kid's
violence
in
too.
big trouble. Yeah, sure.
Like-
Like, I mean, we got fucking implied violence with the dad fucking beating the girl
Yeah.
with the belt, you know, and that was brutal. That was a tough scene to watch. But we never get that with Ethan Hawke, who's supposed to be this, you know, sadistic child killer, but we never really see him. We see him throw some eggs, you know, and sit there with his belt, but we hear things he did from the children who are already dead, but we never really see him attack this little kid
Yeah, you
in
know,
the basement.
I don't even think we need to see him do anything really. I think some of the most effective like horror stuff in this were when the ghosts came
Mhm.
out of nowhere.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I would have liked to see their condition. Like I know a couple of them were bloody and stuff, but like
Yeah.
if one of them got, you know, slit throat, have a slit, you know what I mean? Like show their how
Mhm.
they died, and then you can be like, oh fuck, like he goes nuts.
Mhm.
Another thing kind of bugged me too was I don't know if it was just an oversight by Ethan Hawke's character or we're looking too much into it, but he literally pulls down the steel grating from the window and then that's never mentioned again until the ending,
Yeah.
right? He digs
Mhm.
a fucking giant hole, never mentioned again. So Ethan Hawke literally he puts, and we know that Ethan Hawke knows about the hole because he had to fill it in from when the Asian kid did it. You know what I mean? So he knows that's a possibility. We know from the last badass boy that broke through the freezer that got broken into. So he knows that's a possibility, but he never like checks it or verifies it. So I don't know if that
Yeah.
was like a story oversight or reading too much into it. But and then he like the kid has multiple half-assed attempts. Like he digs for like 2 feet and he pulls down the rod. Why don't you just try to throw the steel grate through the window now? It's like a couple obvious things. And you know how fucking prying-eyed kids are, and you have this open window to a torture room that would have been discovered like in 10
Yeah,
minutes
it's
of
good.
hide and seek.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
And also the kid puts a rug over the hole that wasn't it wouldn't like if Ethan Hawke came down, wouldn't he be like, why is that rug there now? Like
Yeah,
wouldn't
probably.
Where's the
kind of
steel
pique
grating?
his senses? Yeah,
Yeah.
right. All right, my rating's starting to go down a little bit. I think.
Right,
And
yeah.
then, like to touch on your thing too, Joe, is like the stakes weren't high. Like when the kid on the phone said he wants to play Naughty Boy, I'm like, oh, this
Yeah.
could be fucking just what is it? And we know
Yeah.
we know what it is because he gets out, he's gonna beat the shit out of him. But like the kid doesn't know what it is. He just has the
Mhm.
term Naughty Boy. He doesn't even know he's sitting up there, right? Well, he does at some point when he walks by him. But
Mhm.
like maybe flesh that out a little bit. Like give him the rules. Like, hey,
Yeah.
if you want to play Naughty Boy, look what happened to this kid. You know what I mean? Something like a Polaroid, something simple
Mhm.
like that could have been
Right.
highly effective.
Yeah, even like you said, maybe not show the kid, but he could have did some effective flashback scenes, maybe for some of
Yeah.
his other victims, which we never get.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think I think as good as Ethan Hawke was, I think the grabber was not explored enough in this movie.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think we needed more of him they need to show what he does. If you don't know what he does, other than just talking about what he does, it just doesn't work for me. One question I do have: so the bully kid, the one I'm not a big fan of, did it look? This is just based off memory now. Did it look like he was walking towards the van as if he was going there for some kind of purpose? Because it didn't seem like he got kidnapped, more so that he just got himself kidnapped.
When you're tough, you go where you want, Steve.
Yeah, because he just goes to this like fucking warehouse place and is walking towards the van as it fades to black, and the guy, the grabber is getting out of his van with the balloon.
Maybe he knew the kid's route. Possibly, but it was not like the others where he comes out and like actively grabs them. This
Right,
kid kind of
exactly.
went to, but maybe he knew where he was going. But then again, it's like
Right.
child abductions, got it. Creepy black van, cool. Guy that drives around in makeup. This is a fucking grabber, guys. Looks like-
Exactly, yeah, right.
Yeah, you think they would be a little more
Vigilant with
suspicious,
everything.
like
Yeah.
with a kidnapper on the loose. Yeah.
Seriously.
With
Oh,
like
they got
a,
another one. Hopefully we figure it out.
yeah. I thought the kidnap scene was great though. Like that first time we see Ethan Hawke when he kidnaps Finney.
Yeah.
I really love that. I really love that scene. I thought it was really good, really
I loved
effective.
it. I loved it too. I wanted more of that. Imagine if we saw a scene where he was like a kid's birthday party or something.
Yeah.
And like he not grooms is probably not the right word, but like, oh, he sees that kid. And maybe it was Finney at a birthday, something like that. And
Mhm.
he's just doing this creepy ass grabber shit with his stupid makeup. That would have been, we needed more of that. We needed him outside of just sitting down and, making eggs.
Right. Which leads to the question, do we want a prequel, right? Like we talked a little bit about it earlier. Do you want it? Do you think it's necessary? Like, I don't know. Like now that we're talking about it, I feel like it could be pretty effective maybe to get a little more about the grabber.
Yeah, I mean, we know what happens though. That's the problem with prequels. We know he's
Yeah.
he's
I mean,
gonna
he's
win.
going to die.
Unless yeah.
We also know he's going to die in the end too.
That's
Which
true.
I did you want more with that death? With like his, or did you find it fine, like the way
I
it
wanted
goes
more
down?
personally. Like,
Yeah.
and that's
It was
kind
pretty
of
quick.
yeah, that's kind of the thing of this whole movie, right? It's just they never
Yeah.
really went there, into if you're gonna delve into this fucking deep subject and this horror film, you got to go there. You just have to go there, or at least to some level. And it wasn't satisfying, not a satisfying end to that character. But again, he didn't really do that much torturing. Maybe if he had tortured the kid more so in the span of the hour he had him in captivity, then you'd want a bigger death. But I don't know. It's just
So you're gonna tell me that nobody noticed this black van driving from one side of the street to the other, dropping off
put
kids'
those- yeah.
bodies. It's
Right.
like it's too much of that
I
stuff.
get. Yeah, you would think that. Yeah, if I was a neighbor and I think I'd be a little more.
All it takes is mowing the lawn one time. We're
aware.
like, hey, what? Creepy John lives across the street too. But back to the prequel. Yeah, I can see a cool story in this, but it's still gonna have the same problems I had with the first one, where he's just the most incompetent police force and townspeople in the history. Just look the other way.
yeah, I'd watch a prequel. I don't know if I'd request a prequel. Like if they do it, I'd watch it. Yeah, no, I just like it's not something that I'm super excited to see, but if they do it, I'd probably watch it.
All right, here's a question for you. Scott Derrickson had to make another movie. Would you want Grabber prequel or Sinister 3?
I never saw 2.
I'd say Sinister 3.
Don't bother.
You can go in different places with the Sinister storyline.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I don't know, like you said,
movie.
It's basically like Pearl, right? You just call it Grabber, and it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So, where he ultimately ends up. So,
Dude, Pearl's gonna be
Yeah.
fucking graphic sex, dude.
I would
Probably.
like to see. I would like to see more Bagul. He's a cool character. I think he could be touched on more. And 2 was
What was wrong with 2?
bad. It's boring, man.
It's boring.
it didn't go anywhere. Like it just
Yeah.
doesn't do anything interesting.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna read out a few of the questions that we got regarding the film.
Yeah.
So we did get a question from Horror with Sir Sturdy. What do you think of a prequel of this movie with the Grabber? He personally would love to see it. He was talking to his wife and brother about it the other day. So there is interest, and I think a lot of people would be interested. I just don't know if it's worth for them doing necessarily. It's not that big of a movie. I don't think that people would be like, oh, I really want to see a prequel of this, but guess we'll see. And the other one we got was from M. Who's your favorite and least favorite character in the Black Phone?
Ooh.
You got
Favorite? I'll go. I think everyone's gonna say the Grabber probably because he's so interesting. But I'll go the little girl. I really liked her. I thought she was great every time she was on screen. So I forget her character name, but she was great. And then least favorite? I don't know. Probably one of the cops. They weren't. None of them were great, honestly. Like I felt like, and they were all they were kind of. Yeah, they didn't do much,
useless.
honestly. Yeah, the little girl
Worse.
fucking is the one that broke the case and solved it anyway. The cops are useless.
I know, it was funny too during the news interview. These are the detectives that broke the case, bitch.
Right.
They do shit. Least favorite character, probably the brother, because he didn't really. I don't even know why he was there. It didn't add any, it just added a kill, essentially.
He was there for the kill. Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Favorite character? I'm going with the sister again because she's legit acting.
Mhm.
But all the other boys were good too.
Yeah.
I'm also going to go with the sister for my favorite. I think she was just fantastic. I really like everything that she did. My least favorite, like I said, was the bully. I just didn't like that character a lot. I did want to.
Name's Robin, by the way. I have it in my
Okay.
notes.
I did want to talk about one thing that I felt like. So the dad, right? They spend the majority of the movie showing how much of a piece of shit he is to his kids, how much he abuses the kids and everything. But at the end, they make him try to be like a redeemable character because once they get saved, they hug him and they forgive him. I'm like, no, fuck that guy. That guy abused the shit out of you guys. Like, fuck him. Don't. And I didn't get why they chose that as like the final scene of this movie. Like, are we supposed to be like, oh, they're gonna be a happy family now? Like, hell no. You just showed me for an hour that he beats the shit out of his kids. There's no fucking way I'm gonna be happy about this. It's weird.
If they tried to do that, they should have made him out and about, banging on doors.
Yeah.
You know, something, not just sitting around,
sitting at home and
drinking booze.
I was after watching, I was curious if it was, obviously Stephen King was quite a bad alcoholic throughout his life. So I had wondered if Joe Hill kind of mirrored that on maybe some of his experiences, and that's why he put it in there.
It's very possible.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Joe Hill, I just started reading his stuff. I'm reading Nosferatu. I'm about halfway through that. I know there's a show you watched, right, Joe?
Yeah, Steve watched it too, I think.
I did. I watched first season.
It's not worth watching.
No. The book is,
no.
I'm going to finish it, but it's not like groundbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
But man, he has a lot of his dad in him, like craziness. Mm-hmm. I had a question about the movie though. I have my notes here. The pinball kid character kind of came out of nowhere for me. Like it was towards the end of the movie, and then he was the one that burrowed through the wall. I thought that would have been a better character to swap him out and make it Robin, since Robin, Steve's favorite character, had more connection, obviously, right? So like I didn't know why they didn't make Robin like his more predominant in the phone conversation. I know he taught him how to fight briefly with jump back, fade back, hit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, really against this grown ass man, but okay. But I don't know. I just thought that was weird, introducing that character so late to having him a big role in it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you guys the thing that my wife told me that was like, okay, maybe this movie has had a little bit more to it than I initially realized, and that's I didn't realize as I was watching it that each kid that talks to him basically told him their strategy to get out, so that he can figure out which way works best to get out. And I don't know why that didn't click with me. So it was basically each of them were giving him a clue as to how you can escape from the grabber. And that's basically their entire point, is that, okay, so I tried going under the floor. I tried going through the window. I tried going through the ice box. And that's basically what their entire point was each of them have a clue to the puzzle. And as each additional death, now I'm not wondering if other people had seen ghosts or it was just him. That's a whole other thing, but
yeah. I mean, now that we talked about it, I think it was just him because like we had said, the sister also had the gift, and then they talked about the mother. So I feel like maybe just the two kids got it from their mother, and that's why, he was able to communicate. And I think that's why the other kids failed, obviously, is because they weren't able to talk with the other ghosts of children.
Well, I wonder why Robin wasn't able to execute his mission, because he's the fighter, right? And he did. I guess it took I guess if you look at it, it took everything to get his leg broken in a hole, right?
Yeah.
So it took him digging a hole, took him getting the steel grating off the wall, which needed the shoelace where the fuck he had, I guess. Yep. Yeah. Interesting. I like baseball in movies. That was a cool opening.
Yeah.
I liked the Asian fellow too. Like I thought that was pretty cool. Like usually
I like that. Yeah.
That guy would be like, fuck you, I got you. But he's like, hey, your arm is, what do you call it, prime? Or
they flipped it around to show that they're just kids playing and they respect each other.
Yeah, I like that.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, my rating hasn't changed.
Yeah, mine's, well, I'll wait. Are we rating it now? Are we done?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I'm actually mine's going down a little bit after talking about this. Not by much at all. I still think it's a really good movie, and I'll definitely watch it again. It's something I would, if I collected Blu-rays or something, definitely one I would pick up. Definitely want to grab a mask. I hope they make them. I hope Trick or Treat Studios or somebody or a figure or something. I would definitely pick it up. And if there's a prequel, I'd go and watch it. But after discussing tonight, I started seeing a little bit more what was, I guess, wrong with it and whatnot. So originally I had it at 8 out of 10, four stars on Letterboxd. But after tonight, I'm going to drop it down a little bit. I'm going to go to a 7.5, and I'm going to knock it down to 3.5 on my Letterboxd.
All right. I mirror 100% that. Came out of the theater at a 3.5. Could have gone down to a 3 or up to a 4, but I think I'm sticking at a comfortable 3.5, 7.5 out of 10. It's got a bunch of issues, but at the end of the day, it is a bigger budget mainstream horror movie that takes some chances, even though it's not. That's the thing too. Look at it from like a non-traditional horror fan's point of view. This movie's probably really fucked up to a lot of people. So our point of view is a little swayed.
Yeah. I also think it's we didn't even talk about this, but I really think it's a great intro to horror movie for kids.
Yeah.
Because it's not too dark, you know what I mean? And it also teaches the kids the dangers of strangers. Yeah.
My daughter said 5 out of 5 for her when she watched it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I think this is like this is like along the lines of like something like that, where it's not too graphic, and that, it's a great one to show like your youngsters that's not too brutal.
Yeah, and I'm keeping my score just because of this is how I felt when I exited the theater. I did enjoy the experience despite all of the plot holes. I think, speaking about it with you guys, I realize there's more, me that I hated than I expected. But still, I'm looking just where it ranks on my 2022 films, and I think it's where it should be, and I'm giving it an 8. So, which puts at number 4 on my top 10 so far this year.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I still really liked it, and I think it's definitely going to make my top 10. I'd be shocked if it didn't, honestly, because I still think it was a really solid movie.
I agree. If it doesn't make my top 10, there's gonna have to be a really
good back half of the
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's solid, but I mean, we gotta point out the stuff that bugs us.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was thinking like, did I like X better than this? Or did I like Black Phone better? Like, so those were the two, I guess, big mainstream movies that have come out that we liked. What would you pick over the other?
I put X over it. I think X just showed more.
Yeah,
I like the music in X better. I think X was better.
X also took those little extra risks too.
It did. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
X for sure.
Where this movie should have gone, I think. It should have really gone. And
but you know what
was missing.
Knowing me and the way I responded to Dr. Sleep, the torture scene with that boy, which when I rated I thought that was gratuitous. I probably would have felt the same way. I probably would have been like, I fucking hated that scene. So knowing how I react to kids stuff like this, it probably would have damaged the movie, in my opinion, if they showed more. So who knows?
Mm-hmm.
All
right. Cool. Sweet.
So next week, we decided to go a little earlier than we expected, but we're going to do our Shark Week special, which has been an annual tradition for, it's their 3rd year and doing the podcast. So 3rd year doing the Shark Week spectacular. So what we decided on what? Jaws 2 as our serious shark movie, and TBD as our non-serious shark movie, because we're going to put it up to a vote. It's always fun to see what people will pick. So each of us will pick a movie, and you guys will vote which one will win.
Oh God, I can't wait for that. Those bad shark movies are brutal.
I haven't seen Jaws 2 in forever, so I'm excited to revisit that one for sure.
I watched it last year when I did the series last summer when we did 3. So
well, now you don't have to watch it again.
I'll watch it again. you have to, like, I don't remember a year ago, like, to actually discuss points and stuff. So I'll have to watch it again.
All right. Well, that will wrap it up for another episode of the Horror Squad podcast. Make sure you follow us on all social medias, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search the Horror Squad podcast. You will find us. Also, make sure you join our Discord. It is definitely the best way to keep up with the podcast and for behind the scenes information. To get that, all you gotta do is just private message us on any of our socials, and we will send you an invite link for that. Also, you can email us anytime at the Horror Squad podcast at gmail.com. And don't forget about our very special event coming up October 22nd with the star of Hocus Pocus, Max Dennison himself, Omri Katz. The whole squad will be there. Steve, Todd, myself, and also Sam will be there as well, hanging out. So come and hang out with the squad if you can make it to Salem, Massachusetts at Silver Moon Comics and Collectibles, and also a very special screening with a Q&A to follow hosted by us at the Cinema Salem. Just follow our social medias and our Discord. We will give you all the information on ticket sales and all that coming up very, very soon. So yeah, that is it. See you next week for Shark Week.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.